Check it out. It's a sight we haven't seen in a while. One of Royal Caribbean's cruise ships arriving in Florida this morning, ready to set sail with passengers itching to get out because of the pandemic. With more and more people traveling, we know that you have questions. Ginny Maurer from Cruise Planners joins us to get you your answers as you're making your travel plans. So you know what you can do? You can text us your questions so that we can ask Ginny those questions. You text the question to 336-379-5775. Remember, this is a text only, so please do not call. All right, Ginny, first and foremost, I want to ask you about an email that I got from American Airlines that said, we're having problems in Charlotte. You better show up to your flight 2 to 3 hours ahead of time. What's going on?
So what's happening right now, and it's not just Charlotte and it is not just American. The airlines are not back to full speed for employment yet, bringing all their employees back. Same thing with TSA. So we have that issue. Then we have the issue that every single passenger who is going outside of the United States must go to the ticket counter. So we have low employment, high demand, and people having to go through the ticket counter. It is causing lines to be extremely long at each and every airport. If you're traveling internationally, I suggest a minimum of 3 hours. No matter what airport you're flying out of, even if that is our local Greensboro airport.
Okay, and I know people are going, you've got to be kidding me, 3 hours, that is ridiculous. But I guess the opposite side of that is if you miss your flight, it's worse than those 3 hours.
Absolutely, especially because most flights are sold out these days. So if you miss your flight, you may not be able to get to your destination for a while. And I do tell all my clients, I would much rather you be safe than sorry and getting there on time.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about future travel credits, because there are some things that folks need to keep in mind.
So yes, so there are millions and millions of people right now that were issued travel credits by either tour operators, by cruise lines, by airlines this past year, and still even some being issued. So what people need to know is especially be aware of what the terms and conditions are and the dates. So these dates, most of them are going to have two different dates on it. It's going to have a book by date and a travel by date. So it's very important for them to look at that. The other thing is that they need to realize no matter how they booked their travel, if it was direct, if it was, with the operator, they can always reach out to the travel professional of their choice. And most of the time, the travel professional can use that credit and still give them access. And now the travel professional is helping them.
Okay, so we're talking about like you booked a flight, right, and you weren't able to take it, and so you got that credit, and some of them are soon to be expiring.
Correct.
So you can't take it for granted that they're just going to extend that period. You do need to call and talk to them.
Absolutely. Or again, call your travel professional, because the hold times for airlines, again, are worse than the length of time you're going to spend in line at the airport.
Sometimes that is so very true. Okay, let's take a look at what is sold out already. I don't know if you know what's sold out this year, and then I hear you know what's sold out already for next year.
Yes, so it was kind of a last minute release just recently in the last few days that the CDC has actually allowed cruise lines to be sailing in Alaska this year, which was totally unexpected. Now the itineraries will be a little bit different, but there has been huge demand for those. Alaska always sells very quickly, and usually about at least a year in advance, if not 2 years in advance, just because it has such a short travel season. We are seeing very, very low demand, and even a lot of areas and ships are sold out for 2022 already. So if you're thinking Alaska, you need to be booking now. The same thing, resorts, even the Caribbean for fall, for spring. The demand is so high that there is just no availability, or very, very limited. So be flexible on your dates, and also be flexible on your location and what your requirements are.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and one last thing. Let's talk about cruises, because we opened up this segment with cruises. Cruise line coming into Florida there. So what is happening? What do we need to know if we want to book a cruise?
So what we need to know is, again, be flexible. What we're finding is that each cruise line is still formalizing what their protocols are going to be. Royal Caribbean has actually announced that they will be sailing from Florida, and you will not have to have a vaccine to sail out of Florida on Royal Caribbean. Now, that does mean that there will be extra protocols. All of the cruise lines that are going to be operating, some have chosen to extend their cancellations dates. Some are sailing already. Celebrity is actually already sailing out of St. Martin. But what we're finding is that they are changing a lot of things, such as they want you checking in online using their app. Each and every cruise line has great apps and those things. So those who have sailed in the past are familiar with muster drills. This, I hope, is a great standing change, is that muster drills are no longer required. It will actually be online, and you'll do it, and then once you get on board, you actually will go and check in at your muster station. So those are some of the few things. Cruises are still changing protocols each and every day, but again, it is important to know that, again, be flexible. I think that's the word of the year, is be flexible, and know that even though I have clients that are actually traveling and sailing July 5th, and we are still not 1,000% sure on what the exact protocols and boarding processes are. So just know that these cruise lines are working as quickly as they can to get those out to everyone.
Right, and they can change up until then because you don't know what's going to be happening with life. Okay, we're going to take your questions in this next segment, so don't forget to text those questions. We'll be right back.